Oh, I miss this dumpy so much. Look at that presidential dumper, dude. I miss that presidential dumper, dude. Look at him. Look at him awkwardly standing like next to the stage. I will never understand. Why aren't you just walking up to the stage?
I stand before you today to declare that the incredible journey we begun together, we went through a journey like nobody else. There's never been a journey like it. There's never been a journey so successful.
It's so successful that he lost more than any other president has ever lost. Like historic losses, right? When you think about it, that entire month of him failing to recognize that he had actually lost the election is just one L after another. 60 to be exact, 60 plus L's every time there was a new court case. Boom, lost. Okay, he lost his Twitter account. He lost everything. It's awesome. Oh, he came super late, by the way. Hogs had to wait for a long time because he was too lazy. I love that. Things we did, this stuff, it's all stuff. It's the most stuff that's ever been. Yeah, believe me, the winning, the victories, they were so good.
The brave Republicans in this room will be at the heart of the effort to oppose the radical Democrats, the fake news media, and their toxic.
He's so fucking hot. Y'all are just jealous because he's hot, dude. There, I said it. Everyone is just jealous because he's fucking hot. I'm sorry, I have to say it, dude.
We're not starting new parties. You know, they kept saying, he's going to start a brand new party. We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before. I am not starting a new party. That was fake news.
Okay, so he officially announced that he's not starting a new party.
Mr. McLaughlin just gave me numbers that nobody's ever heard of before.
Oh yeah, the McLaughlin numbers are pretty damning, but it shows what we already knew. 55% saying that, like, no, they want Donald Trump. I think like Ted Cruz has like a 2% and Tucker Carlson has 1%. That was interesting. He never said he wants to run for president, but it was just a meme. I mean, so was Donald Trump. So I guess we had to take memes seriously within the Republican Party, of course. So that's pretty poggers. Ron DeSantis has like 21 to 22%, but that's a little terrifying as well.
Joe Biden has had the most disastrous first month of any president in modern history. That's true.
What I find to be hilarious with Joe Biden has had the most disastrous first month of his presidency is true. What I find hilarious is, like, I guess technically because COVID is real now because Joe Biden is president, but it was fake when Donald Trump was president. Now Republicans can turn around and be like, look at how many people died of COVID in the first month of Joe Biden's presidency. Real devastation, real malpractice, if you will, which they are kind of doing, by the way, but I think they're doing it sarcastically. I really hoping he'd break off into another party and Republicans will self-implode. That's not going to happen. He fucking ran for president just so he could, you know, grift a little bit and get brand lift out of it. He didn't run for president because he wanted to, like, genuinely be president. He lucked into it in that regard, okay? Not only that, but, like, now he's still going to milk the threat of becoming president as long as he can, even if he's genuinely not interested in running a second time. Starting a third party and fighting against the institutional, like, established parties, fighting against the major parties is already impossible, okay? It is so difficult. A lot of times grifters get latched onto it, onto causes like that, and it's virtually impossible, and you need to be, like, either blinded by ideological loyalty to your cause. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Or just genuinely try to grift, I guess, but small time grift. Because if you're the president, if you became the president and the leader of the Republican Party, then, like, trying to start a third party is so idiotic. Dog whistling to QAnon.
Under my administration, we stopped the child smugglers. We dismantled the criminal cartels. We greatly limited drug and human trafficking to a level that nobody actually thought was possible. And the wall helped us a lot. And we protected vulnerable people from the ravages of dangerous predators. And that's what they are, dangerous, dangerous predators.
Under my administration, we stopped the dangerous child predators. Ironic because the Trump administration was a historic low for sex trafficking convictions, by the way. ICE focus under Donald Trump's administration straight the fuck up shifted away from the more hardened criminals to straight up non-violent offenders of immigration law. People just existing on the other side of the border, despite the fact that they were born on the other side. Okay, this is facts. You can look this up if you don't believe me. So for him to say, oh, we are, you know, we're fucking fighting against dangerous sex traffickers and whatever, it is completely false, which is ironic because, you know, the famous populist conspiracy theory movement that started under the Trump administration that wanted to justify all of his ridiculous actions literally revolved around Trump, you know, killing, in the end, killing all the psychotic pedophile, deep state pedophile vampires that were working in the Democratic Party and shit. So, you know, it did the exact opposite.
Who knows? I may even decide to beat them for a third time, okay?
A third time, implying that the second time he beat them as well and did not absolutely get dumpstered and dumpstered by an old man who basically is a walking corpse. So he's running for a third term? No, he's saying he's going to run. Of course he's going to say that. He loves the attention. He loves being admired. And these people are fucking fans. Like, they're stans, dude. Obviously, he's going to keep this alive as long as he can, even if he has no interest in doing so, if not for anything else, exclusively for the branding and for the stands. You know what I mean? It's a stan culture. I mean, like, we joke about K-pop, but, you know, Trump stands are fucking way worse, okay? And also are old enough to know better, but don't for some weird reason. This is the Nintendo Direct for fascism? Yeah, literally. Like, this is exactly that. This is Nintendo fans, like, absolutely losing their minds and going hoggers for, you know, another Zelda skin on your Joy-Con instead of Breath of the Wild 2 Electric Boogaloo. I'm going to make this a really fucking... I'm going to turn this into a real gamer thing here, and Trump, just like Nintendo, is actually hitting the high notes and not really giving you any new product. This entire Trump speech so far has literally been Mario Golf, okay? It has been the Mario Golf of speeches. Oh, all of your favorite characters in numerous other characters that you can play from the Nintendo universe, but in a golfing scenario, okay? That is literally what you're getting. As a Trump stan, when you go to CPAC and you hear him say, like, you know, fake news media, the wall, Democrats, demon rats, Joe Biden is lazy and sleepy, you're literally getting the Nintendo Direct of fucking Trump speeches.
The Biden administration is actually bragging about the classroom education they are providing to migrant children on the border, while at the same time millions of American children are having their futures destroyed by Joe Biden's anti-science school closures. Think of it.
Republicans are the real pro-science party now, boys. Republicans are the pro-science party, and Democrats are the anti-science party now. At least Democrats are like, we are going to listen to the science and then, you know, not do anything about it whenever it comes to, like, fracking and shit. You know what I mean? But, like, Republicans are like, science is fake and also gay. Science was made up. It is a part of the homosexual Marxist agenda.
The only reason that most parents do not have that choice is because Joe Biden sold out America's children to the teachers' unions.
Yeah, there is no... Dude, holy shit. This is a contentious issue currently that, like, teachers being able to advocate for their best interest in a field because of their unions and how much power that the unions have is literally pissing off parents. It's fucking pissing off the country. It is wild. Like, could you imagine if I don't know, grocery store clerks had the same kind of power that a lot of teachers unions have, and especially in places like Chicago and New York? And they were just like, yeah, if you don't give us hazard pay, we're just not going to fucking work. It would be sick, okay? It would be awesome. Especially because these mega corporations would have to immediately be like, all right, we can't deal with this. You know, people need to get their groceries and shit or else they're going to die. We are going to give you the hazard pay. We're going to give you, we're going to increase workplace safety. If only they had it. Meanwhile, everyone is just, all of the people who are in, like, you know, upper management or even other working class individuals, as a matter of fact, they're shitting on teachers unions for having the power to be able to protect themselves through this pandemic and ensure that their teachers are not getting fucking owned in the marketplace of COVID. Okay. The hilarity of the conversation we're having here is that, like, we're having a conversation about teachers unions right now, but, like, the real reason why kids can't go back to school the real reason why kids can't go back to school is because who the fuck was the president? Like, the last president kind of fucked this whole COVID thing up, huh? It feels like the last president, whoever he was, I don't know. I wasn't really awake during that time, but kind of fucked the entire COVID thing up to a degree where, like, it literally spread uncontrollably. And it was one of the worst places in the Western world or in the entire planet per capita for per capita COVID deaths and all that. So, Yeah, it was just, I think they like really let it escalate, which is the opposite of what you're supposed to do in a pandemic. You know, was it Obama or was it Hillary? Maybe it was Hillary Clinton. Hillary.
So on behalf of the moms, dads, and children of America, I call on Joe Biden to get the schools open and get them open now. It'd be a great thing to do.
Just remember that, like, Joe Biden, when he was running for president against Donald Trump, wasn't even being this aggressive towards Donald Trump as Donald Trump is post-presidency at CPAC against Joe Biden. Like, people would ask him, like, do you blame Donald Trump for COVID? And Joe Biden would refuse to be like, yes, he fucked up. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Like, he every now and then when he was, like, pushed to a fucking corner, he would release a statement about it. But Donald Trump is not stopping. Republicans are not going to stop. It doesn't matter if they're in a position of power. It doesn't matter if they're post tenure. They will always shit on the Democrats in every opportunity. This is what I always say when I say Democrats should be a little bit more like Republicans, not from the point of view of like their ideology, which they are unfortunately too close to Republicans on, but tactics. Okay, they should be more aggressive. They should call out their enemies a little bit more because Republicans never play with kitty gloves. They are always on the offensive. Do a little bit more partisanship, even if you don't want to do it because you want to. I just like, there's no reason not to be more partisan and more aggressive towards the Republicans and call them out all the fucking time. It's just very triggering, very annoying watching Democrats refuse to call out Republicans. It's changing. That culture is changing within the party, and younger liberals and freshman Democrats, regardless of whether they are centrists or not, have been doing a better job of like attacking Republicans. I'm not just talking about progressives. I'm talking about like even Pete Buttigieg did a better job of like attacking Republicans and like correctly calling out Republicans when it mattered. Maybe that will change. Maybe that attitude shift will change. So that will be great eventually, because ultimately it will lead to more Democratic victories down the line. And ultimately that will lead to inevitably at least some kind of fucking progressive policies being implemented, whether it's on accident or whether it gets snuck into a fucking larger omnibus or something like that, or whether it is a main proposal that they have.
What has taken place over the last year under our administration. It would have taken any other president at least 5 years, and we got it done in 9 months. Everyone says 5 years. 5 years. What the Trump administration has done with vaccines has, in many respects, perhaps saved large portions of the world, not only our country, but large portions of the world.
Nothing proves that like Republicans just want to hear Trump's voice, his incredible voice inside of their ear holes without paying attention to what he's actually saying, then clapping for vaccines. Okay, those motherfuckers are like anti-vaxxers. Like half that room is an anti-vaxxer, and they're getting excited about like a rushed vaccination process while simultaneously holding on to the belief that like vaccinations give you the autism, and it's the Bill and Melinda Gates vaccine that has a microchip. Thank you, Mr. President, for the vaccine that I'm not going to be taking because it gives you autism for a disease that's also fake. And you know, it's not real, made by libtards. Like, someone should ask the question to everyone in that room, like, okay, you guys just clap for this vaccine. Why do you think the vaccine is out there? For a pandemic? Okay, so then why aren't you wearing a fucking mask? Like, if there's a real pandemic and you're excited for a vaccine for that pandemic, then why the fuck aren't you doing the other important things that you need to do in order to mitigate some of the damage? How do you fucking celebrate a vaccine for a pandemic that you have declared to be fake?
Yet Biden said just a few days ago that when he got here, meaning the White House, there was no vaccine. Now, I don't think he said that, frankly, in a malicious way. I really don't. I actually believe he said that because he didn't really know what the hell was happening.
Again, ironic considering the fact that like that old corpse absolutely destroyed you. You were so intensely just like, yeah, by the way, people celebrating the COVID vaccine. Guys, holy shit. Not a single fucking, yo, motherfuckers have their CPAP machines on to stay awake during Trump's speech, and they don't have masks on, dude. Not a single mask, dude. I brought my CPAP to CPAC.
Already, as president, Biden has urged Congress to pass legislation shredding your Second Amendment. Your Second Amendment is in far bigger trouble than you know. And for 4 years, I fought like hell.
The irony is, like, there's two issues that the Democrats have not talked about at all, okay? Gun rights or gun control and the public option. These are two things that the National Democratic Party has completely avoided even opening their mouths on. Again, playing the fucking highlights and talking about things that he knows the hogs want to hear. They're so good at this. Like, it doesn't matter what the Democrats do. They're already, like, setting up a universe in which the Democrats are coming to get your guns. It's like, the fuck are you talking about, dude?
To save your Second Amendment, and we saved it 100%.
I love like a bunch of 75-year-old used car dealers that flew in from like Kentucky and shit being worried about their Second Amendment rights being taken away from them. Like, what are you doing? Like, the fucking kickback on a AR-15, which is really low in recoil, really low in comparison to most other guns, is still gonna fucking kill you. And you're over here talking about like, oh, thank God my Second Amendment rights are safe. Like, what are you talking about? A light breeze is gonna fucking knock you over and you're gonna die, or at least have to pay like $100 grand for, ass bone surgery because your butt bone broke. And you're over here like, yeah, don't take my guns away. Bitch, you can't fucking shoot guns at this point.
His first priority was to open our borders to unvetted travelers from Libya, Yemen, Syria, Somalia, and many other countries where strict vetting cannot occur. Countries that have tremendous problems, countries with tremendous terrorism problems. Your family still cannot go out to eat at local restaurants, but Joe Biden is bringing in thousands upon thousands of refugees from all over the world, people that nobody knows anything about. We don't have crime records. What are they bringing in with them? When I left office, we had virtually ended the endless wars. These endless wars.
Yeah, he was such a peaceful dove, dude. It's just like, when I think about the Trump administration, I think about how peaceful he was. I love that in the same breath, he's like, Libyans are murderers. We shouldn't open our borders to the Libyans. He's like, I'm the peaceful dove. I ended the endless wars. What the fuck are you talking about? You literally just said an entire country is a threat if their citizens are allowed inside of our borders. You also fucking quintupled the Obama era drone striking. You literally fucking erased the record-keeping procedure for civilian casualties within the drone strikes that was implemented in the Obama era, which was already like a conservative estimate to begin with. He assassinated a foreign fucking leader, one of the most insane fucking acts of war that I've seen, beyond like the sanctions and shit. I just don't understand. I don't understand how the fuck he can run on this. You know what's funny? He's saying the Biden administration is reintroducing wars, okay? Bombing Syria was bad or whatever, and I think that's like a consistent take from, or that's something that you've heard from Donald Trump Jr., right? And the hilarity is, like, the Biden administration is literally escalating tensions with Iran right now. This is exactly like when Obama did a really, in my opinion, a piss poor job of dealing with immigration and totally caving to the interests of Republicans and the more reactionary interests from American political infrastructure, greatly expanded on the harm done to immigrants in this country, while all the Republicans were like, he's letting all the rapists come into the country. He's letting all the rapists come into the country. Like, Obama literally fucking deported more people than Trump did. He did. In his first 4 years, Obama deported more people than Donald Trump did. That's facts. Then they used the facilities that Obama, or the implementation of Obama's, like, not child separation policies, but Obama's policies for the increase in and dealing with the increase in, like, child migrants and child migrants that did not have adults accompanying them, and their facilities that he started storing them in. Literally, we were using military bases in Oklahoma and shit. He used that as an opportunity to say, well, Obama did it and it was all right. Democrats caved to the demands of the Republicans, caved to the reactionary elements within American politics, and then get shit on for it by the other Republicans that then increase exactly what they did, then expand upon that cruelty while simultaneously shitting on them and saying, well, they did it and it was all right. So stop. What are you doing? Stop. Don't be a fucking idiot. Donald Trump saying Joe Biden is caving to Iran is so psychopathic, because the Biden administration is literally increasing tensions with Iran and is drone strikes or his strikes in Syria was literally an escalation of conflict at a time when we should be scaling back dramatically, maybe even pulling out entirely from the rest of the fucking world and focusing on ourselves. You know, do some self-care, America.
Just like the Iran and the World Health Organization, Joe Biden put the United States back into the very unfair and very costly Paris Climate Accord without negotiating a better deal. They wanted us so badly back in. They could have made a great deal. If they were going to go back in, that's fine. But they could have made a great deal instead of just say, we're back in.
I don't know how you do a better like Paris Climate Accord, like a better deal. Like, what's a better deal? It's literally like a non-binding agreement. It's like a promise that you're making. I don't know. The Jonas Brothers, they did a terrible deal when they promised abstinence before marriage. They should have gone back and renegotiated when they put on the promise rings. Why are you doing a pinky promise without money? You need money for the abstinence.
Which was incredible because, again, he talked about energy. He never said he was going to do this. He canceled the Keystone XL pipeline, destroying not the 8,000 or the 9,000 or the 11,000 jobs that you hear, but 42,000 great paying jobs on just about day one, right? He never talked about that during a debate because he wouldn't have gotten away with it. Well, he would have because they cheated so much it probably wouldn't have.
If infrastructure spending and jobs are so fucking important, why did Donald Trump spend zero time, like literally zero time doing any infrastructure projects? Beyond, building pipelines. It's so fucking strange. I don't know.
Young girls and women are incensed that they are now being forced to compete against those who are biological males. It's not good for women. It's not good for women's sports, which worked so long and so hard to get to where they are.
This is the peak of Obama era culture wars, right? Like trans bathrooms was like the main point of contention, as though like this is a legitimate fucking this is like the most important issue that the American working class is like frustrated by, trans women peeing wherever the fuck they want to pee, right? Like Republicans tried to make this the most significant problem for Americans, right? So now we've moved on from the trans bathroom and we're talking about trans women in sports, partially because of Joe Rogan and the massive audience that he has consistently talking about this. I've talked about this numerous times. You know where my take is. I do not give a shit, okay? If you believe that trans women should not be able to participate in sports with cisgender women, then you're basically saying trans women aren't women. They're different and they should not, and that is transphobic. Secondly, who gives a shit? The irony is, of course, fucking Republicans who otherwise would clown on fucking women's sports are acting like they literally care about women's sports. It's like the peak of virtue signaling. Literally, no one cares. I don't care about male sports. I don't care about female sports. I just don't care about it in general. But like this notion that like Republicans actually want to maintain the sanctity of women's sports is so fucking psychotic. It is like one of the funniest parts about it, okay? One of the funniest parts about it is like Republicans being like, yes, I want to make sure that there's a sanctity of the women's sports that needs to be protected. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. And lastly, the reason why every single motherfucker runs to that one-time Fallon Fox broke someone else's fucking skull within the UFC franchise or whatever is because there aren't that many instances where trans women are out competing cis women or genuinely fucking damaging them. So they have to constantly talk about the one issue that happened so many fucking years ago because it's not that big of a fucking deal, okay? Trans women aren't like overwhelmingly outperforming cis women in sports. And even if they were, it wouldn't be a fucking problem because there is no distinguishing factor or should not be any distinguishing factor between trans women and fucking cis women. Sorry, it is what it is. That is the fucking reality. Oh, the last part about this that I was going to say is that I think PEDs should be completely allowed in sports. Most people fucking take them regardless behind closed doors. I would rather regulate it and make sports more fucking fun. That's my take, okay? And the other, as far as the other side of this argument goes, then what do you want? Do you want trans men to beat the fucking shit out of cis women? Is that what you want? Because they're technically biological women from your fucking bigoted worldview. Is that what you want? Do you want? No, you don't. You don't want them to fucking compete because you don't want them to exist. That's it. That's where the fucking argument ends, okay? Because, like, it's not about giving a single fuck about women's sports. Let's be real, okay? Sorry, call me a fucking misogynist all day, every day. Literally no one gives a shit about female high school sports, okay? Shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit and should not give a shit about high school sports in general. But, like, this notion that you literally, oh my God, like, what about women's high school sports? Like, oh no, people are gonna like secretly start taking HRT and fucking undergo like rigorous hormone replacement for months just to fucking win in a high school sports. You have to be some completely fucking deranged. It is the exact same kind of psychopathic take that people had about gay people faking being gay and lesbians faking being lesbians because they wanted to get brownie points. But because it's no longer fashionable to be homophobic like that in public, they've just moved on to the next thing that they find to be strange, and that's why they're doing it to fucking trans people. Okay? Shut the fuck up. I see what you mean, like it doesn't matter, but you can't say it isn't unfair. It's not. It's not. It's like saying that like if you naturally produce more testosterone, it's unfair. It's like saying playing basketball when you're 6'7" is unfair because you're playing basketball with people that are like 5'11", okay? It's like that. Either you legitimately don't believe that trans women are fucking women and should be able to participate in women's sports, or you do believe it and you think they should, because it doesn't fucking matter. Search within yourself. The operating principle there in the back of your fucking mind is that like somehow, somewhere along the line, someone is cheating to become trans. It's fake and they're doing it even though they're not fucking trans. And that is transphobia. You have to believe that trans people are like kind of fucking faking it to be trans so they can win like trivial shit. Like in high school sports so they can get a fucking free scholarship. That's where it's coming from. I want motherfuckers to undergo the trans experience when they talk shit like this, okay? If you think people are just, faking being trans to like win athletic scholarships, go ahead. Put your money where your mouth is. Now I'm forcibly feminizing you, bitch. Sorry. You are now going to get forcibly feminized. I am going to, at gunpoint, forcibly feminize you to see if you like it or not. It's so fucking easy, right? People are just doing it for attention, right? People are just doing it because they want to fucking, they want to get scholarships. And then again, the alternative is you are literally making trans men, which you would consider to be biological women, fucking beat the shit out of cis women then. Isn't that going to ruin high school sports? No, you just don't want them to compete. That's it. People in your chat are actually saying, I think we should check their testosterone levels. Oh, that is a really interesting and unique take. If only like there was some sort of compliance from international authorities that did that already. Oh, well, we will never know. They don't do that, right? They don't do that. So, you keep being mad. Oh, wait, they fucking do that already. This is the other part of it. Like, this is why I get so fucking triggered about this shit, because they literally already do that, dumbass. And that is the hilarity of this argument, because you can reduce all of the fucking fears and all the anger that people have against trans people competing in sports to just that, simple bigotry. Because their counter solutions or their counter proposals are things that people are already fucking doing.
The future of the Republican Party is as a party that defends the social, economic, and cultural interests and values of working American families of every race, color, and creed. That's why the party is growing so rapidly and is becoming a different party. And it's becoming a party of love. You have to see outside the streets.
He literally just went on a fucking random transphobic screed, like for no reason whatsoever. And then in the same breath followed up by saying, we're a party of love.
We are leading the world. Nobody's even close. We're leading it in the comeback. Our economic comeback has been incredible. That's because the financial and economic foundation we built was so strong that unlike other countries who are having a hard time, we didn't break. We came roaring back, and now our stock market and your 401ks are, again, at record levels, higher than ever before, actually.
Oh, thank God for Joseph Robinette Biden, I guess.
And there must be a chain of custody protections for every ballot. And you saw what happened in Detroit and Philadelphia and many other places, swing states mostly, all over, but swing states mostly. You saw what happened. You saw what was going on. You saw that more people, you take a look at the votes. When you have more votes than you have people, That's a problem, right? Is that a problem?
This is literally the Mike Pillow rhetoric, but like watered down. You know what I mean? Like we look at Mike Pillow when he's saying psychotic shit like this.
Because they use COVID as a way of cheating. That's
They
what
use
happened.
COVID as a way of
Everybody
cheating.
knows it. Hundreds of thousands and millions.
What was the cheating? Oh, the cheating was that more people were able to vote, ease of access to voting in the form of mail-in ballots and universal mail-in ballot registration.
In almost every swing state, with the procedures rewritten by local politicians, you're not allowed to do that, and local judges. They want more time, they want this, they want that, all done by local politicians or local judges, as opposed to state legislatures as required by the Constitution of the United States.
The reason why this is a big problem, of course, is because the fucking state legislatures, or the reason why he's bringing that up is because the state legislatures are like stacked to the fucking gills with Republicans. That's why. It is completely partisan and completely in favor of the Republican Party, and that's precisely why he wants the state legislatures to... he wants the local measures to end, not at like the local judgeship, but instead, or the local jurisdiction of the judge, but instead to end at the state legislatures, because it's fucking gerrymandered super hard. And that's precisely why, because it's undemocratic. He's not saying states' rights. If it was stacked to the gills with Democrats in a similar capacity, then he would say, why won't they let local judges deal with this? It's their own fucking government. It's the local government. They should deal with it. No, that's why he's like putting a cap on locality based on where Republicans are favored. You know, honestly, it is kind of, I mean, that's why I have the steal the vote fucking rave beads that I wear all the time. People ask me like, what this says? It says steal the vote on it. Like, I think Democrats should just start flexing and be like, shut up, bitch. Yeah, we stole it. Suck my dick. Like, it doesn't fucking matter anyway. If you were smart, you would steal it too. You were just bad at stealing. We are better. We're the best at theft.
We don't get it done. We let them attack our businesses, and we don't attack their business. I believe your numbers are bigger than their numbers, but you're nicer than they are. You're not as vicious as they are. In the past, we would debate. I would have it. I'd debate. You've seen me for many years. They throw something. I debate. They debate. Who knows who wins? You know, people go, they vote, they see what happens.
We are the party of love. And the murdered police officers at my direction from my mega stands were actually doing it in a loving manner. Believe me. When they bludgeoned a police officer's skull with a fire extinguisher and trampled on his lifeless body, or not lifeless body at the time, they were doing it with love. And also they were Antifa.
You would win, you would lose. The public would make up its mind, but now there is no debate because they refuse to allow our side to even speak or be heard. They don't want debate because we have easy victories in a debate. Very easy victories. It's called common sense. It's called other things, but it's called common sense. So they don't want to debate.
So this is the ultimate advantage that conservatives do have in debates because common sense automatically translates to the status quo, right? Things have been this way for a long time, so it should remain this way. It's just common sense because change is considered to be uncommon, or change is oftentimes considered to be bad, especially by older people who do not hate fucking who absolutely despise change because it creates a sense of fear in a world that's changing beyond their comprehension, and it just signifies that they're closer and closer to death. I don't want to get too deep into the psychoanalysis of why older people are afraid of change, but that's usually at the heart of this conversation. So that's precisely why Donald Trump and Republicans oftentimes can just resort back to this is common sense. This is just common sense argument. That's why it's a little bit easier for Republicans to dismantle progressive policy positions by saying it's not common sense to do that. Can you explain how such an empty head could be the best president of the most powerful country on earth? Can you explain? Because America is full of dumbasses, okay? That's why. Voter suppression, years and years of propaganda, the Republican Party apparatus, or the Republican media apparatus working overtime, America becoming more and more like a reality TV show and wanting to just like consume the political culture like it's another fucking Keeping Up with the Kardashians show. People loving Donald Trump's pussy because he does have a fat dumpy. Horrible education system. There is a litany of different problems. America's a powder keg for someone like Donald Trump to take over. A terrible incrementalist and elitist fucking controlled opposition party in the form of Democrats that also, whenever they're in a position of power, continue to accelerate. Well, maybe not accelerate, but continue to move towards fascism. uniquely weak candidates or uniquely disliked, intensely disliked candidates such as Hillary Clinton being put up against someone who is a clown like Donald Trump, white supremacy never really being addressed in American culture or society, the systemic racism not being dismantled within our institutions so that people can so easily resort back to the, oh, this is just common sense. You know, black people are this way and white people are that way. Come on, I'm not being racist. It's just a cultural difference. It's so easy for Republicans to be able to make these arguments because of all of the unique problems, that America has.
And that's why I'm announcing that I will be actively working to elect strong, tough, and smart Republican leaders.
Like, this lady's gonna die soon, dude. Look at this. Look. Bro, you really want to fucking spend, like, your last fucking year on Earth believing that the world is fucking falling apart and just, like, being terrified that, you know, Mexicans are coming into the country and turning it brown? Just fucking smoke some weed and just, like, medicate, you know? If you are in the autumn of your life and you don't spend it, like, fucking everything around you and, like, doing all of the drugs, what the fuck are you doing? It's just like, dude, have fun, okay? Just fucking have fun. Like, you're gonna die soon. Just have fun. Why the ever-living fuck are you spending your remaining fucking time on this planet being full, pumping yourself full of hatred?
My endorsement of Mitch McConnell, at his request. It's all right. It's all right.
Remember, he was not invited, and also on top of that, is getting booed. Mitch McConnell is literally the meme of, like, just wiping his tears off with $100 bills. You know what I mean? Oh no, I can't believe the members over at CPAC are saying that I'm bad. Well, I've dedicated my entire life to the ideological goals of the Republican Party, and that's why I am endlessly wealthy, and also on top of that, I'm still endlessly powerful.